And we are live. Yo, what up, cyber heroes? Today you are in luck because, of course, I'm here to answer your questions. So, y'all tap in, let me know where you are streaming from. Anyway, while y'all are getting going, let me check something real quick. Uh, Let me check something real quick. And all right. All right, good people. So where are you from? I put my microphone on charge. This thing about to die on me. It's about to die on me. All right. So if you are on this stream right now, and let's say that you are having some challenges getting into cybersecurity, starting a consulting company, making some money, what questions do you have? What problems do you have? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. From Sweden. You know what? I've been a lot of places around this world, but I have not been to Sweden. Kansas. Checking in for ATL. Hey, it's my pleasure. I enjoy doing this, y'all. I enjoy doing this. I'm here for you. I am here for you. Alrighty. Puerto Rico. Hey man, Puerto Rico was nice. Nice. I spent a little time there. All right. Bay Area. Stark. I want to learn cybersecurity. Says Sweden is boring, bro. uh, I think that you can have fun anywhere. It just depends on what you do and how you do it. Depends on what you do and how you do it. We are going into the holiday season here in the U.S. We got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, and all this stuff coming up. And in this time, this is actually one of the slowest times of the year for companies to actually do tech hiring. One of the toughest times, y'all, because people be on vacation. Not only do people be on vacation, you have budgets that have probably already been used up for the entire year. So moving into January, February, that's when companies start to ramp up and bring on more people. So the thing is, you got to be ready for when that opportunity comes. If you're not ready, then you're going to miss out on some opportunities. So how do we network with recruiters? Hey, Slade, if you want to network with recruiters, there's a couple things that you have to do. First of all, in order to network with recruiters, you have to be where they are to even have a conversation. So you have to make yourself approachable and findable. For some reason, especially in this day and age, people have this idea that in order to get a job, they just sit behind the keyboard and submit application. Like, you are fighting technology. You're fighting technology. And the thing is, the only thing that application is going to do, if it did do anything, was get you a conversation with the recruiter or maybe an interview based on that. So what I'm telling you guys is the resume is a conversation starter. So I'm sorry, the resume and the application is a conversation starter. But if you skip the whole process of submitting applications and go and find where the recruiters and the hiring managers are, you can eliminate the technology. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know if y'all tracking with me, if that makes sense. It's like right now, they're in every location, at least in the U.S. I don't know about outside of the U.S., but there are IT IT groups, cybersecurity groups that meet up. Now, some of these organizations have dues. Let me talk about that real quick. Man. I'm gonna say it like I feel it since I'm live. It's a lot of y'all that want this much value in stuff from people for free. And that makes absolutely no sense. I want you to think about this. You guys, and you can raise your hand and say if it's you, or blink twice. Think about this logically. You're expecting people to give you time, energy, and effort to get you high paying skills so that you can go out and charge people to pay you lots of money, but you want that for free. It makes no sense, y'all. It doesn't make any sense. If you don't respect the time that it took other people and resources to acquire the skills to teach you, to make an investment, you are not going to be, you won't appreciate it. You won't appreciate it. It makes no sense. Anyway, forgot what I was talking about that. I'm sorry, y'all. I get a lot of freeple that be messaging me on different platforms asking me to do stuff for free. And I work too hard to be free. I work so hard to get freedom that I'm not free. What up, Greg? Greg, man. Greg, I think we're going to have, is our one-on-one next week or something? Man, you're not in the starting blocks, man. I'm telling you, we're just going to have one good conversation. It's going to set you right. It's going to set you right. You are far ahead than most of the other people that I've worked with. Far ahead. Once you see it, it's going to be a game changer. See, Nehemiah just joined the program. What program did you join? But thank you. Can I get a remote job for help desk without experience? I don't know. Yeah, y'all. So like entry level jobs are not my specialty and not my bag. I really don't have any insight on entry level jobs because I don't teach people to get entry level jobs. So I'm not even sure. And one thing that you'll learn about me is if I don't know, I'm not going to pretend like I know. I don't. I'm trying to escape tech support hell. Don't try. Do. You can do it. You can do it. Be intentional. Be intentional about what it is that you want to do. Thomas, hey boy, what's your strategy for keeping interviews from more than 2 rounds? It seems that no matter how much value I present to the client, there's always another round that pops up. Oh, Thomas, this is good. I'm going to challenge you real quick. Man, I wish I could add you to this broadcast, man. We would talk about it. But when it comes to value, here's the thing. What I've noticed is a lot of people will go to interviews and think that they did an exceptional job, and that's an emotional feeling, right? When we know that we're adding value, that's usually there's usually an indicator or measurable results that we can actually bring. So believing that we added value is subjective. But what I will tell you this, the way I teach my clients is, first of all, you never show up to an interview without knowing what the budget is, so how much money you can potentially make. But number 2, if you're concerned about your time, you can ask those questions ahead of time of how many rounds could this potentially be. I ask all those questions because I'm very protective of my time. And so depending on who it is you're talking to, generally the lower level the person is, the more rounds it's going to take you. It's almost like a video game where you finally get to the boss. You get to the boss. So if you start first talking with a team member, then maybe you're going to have to talk to a manager. Then maybe you might have to talk to a director. Then maybe you may have to talk to a VP, depending on the role that you're in. But I'll also tell you this, the higher level the role, meaning the more vital that position is to the company, the more people you're going to have to talk to. Fortunately for me in my career, I have been able to provide so much value to the folks where they just like, after round one, we're good. We're just going to go with you and make you the offer. Um, but that's something I got to teach you how to do. There's an art to it. But your other question, should you stop after 2 rounds? I'm not going to say stop. I'm not going to say stop. Unless that's a decision you got to make. Because like the interview, I don't know if y'all noticed. Like, drop in the comments right now if you have ever had an interview for a job that was more than $100,000. Let me know. Let me know. And the reason why I'm saying that is most people struggle is to get to the interview. So if you are progressing through the rounds, then you may want to see that thing through if it is an opportunity that you truly desire. Only if. Steven said, hey, boy, I'm currently enrolled in the Google Cybersecurity course and looking to get into the field. I have a background as life insurance broker alongside of case management healthcare. Sweet, sweet. It seems like the job market is super rough this year. Hopefully it'll let up. Yo, cyber gangsta, the job market is always going to appear tough if we don't position ourselves in spaces where you have to be needed. Companies don't want to do the cybersecurity stuff. They do it because they have to. So as long as you position your skill set and ability in a specific market that actually has to have you, then you're going to be successful. Too many people focus on the paycheck of what they're going to get right now instead of how long can I keep that paycheck. For example, if I'm looking for an opportunity right now, I'm going to try to find an industry that I know the world cannot do without. Dairy, groceries, heck, vehicle transportation, like companies that provide vital services that need IT services and cybersecurity is like a perfect place to put yourself. If you go and work at companies that require people's discretionary income, then that may be a long ride. When I say discretionary income, I'm talking about like gyms, entertainment teams, stuff like that. Like, that is discretionary. People don't have to spend money there. Retail stores, people don't have to spend money there. They don't. But what do they need? They need gas. They need electricity. They need to be able to eat. So stuff like that. I appreciate you, Tony. I appreciate you, Tony. Thomas said, I always ask for rounds and budget up front and stick with only 2, but 9 times out of 10, another round pops up, etc. I usually ask, what are they looking for? What are they looking for to achieve? And then tailor my pitch. That's the right way to do it. That's the right way to do it. Thomas, 8 interviews last year, all for 100K plus. Nice, nice, nice. Currently taking Google IT support, Google IT automation, and course careers IT help desk. Are those courses worth it? Just lost job in medical field and want to transition to remote work. Hey, Code Conqueror, sorry you lost your job. Sorry to hear that. Truth be told, it does not matter what course you take. It all depends on you and how you apply it. Like those same Google IT stuff, I can almost guarantee you there is a full library course on YouTube where you can learn all that information for free. However, let me let you in a little secret. You ready for this? Information does not transform people's lives. It don't. Hey man, I'll be on these live videos like every week giving y'all multi-million-dollar insight, but it don't change people's lives unless they actually apply and do. The only way that a training, coaching, mentorship is going to work for you is if you actually do it. And because of that, it's Friday, golf day. I got to talk about my swing trainer. So I practice my golf every day. I put a putting green in my backyard. I got a golf coach. I work on my swing even when I'm not at the course. But if I came to my office every day and I just looked at this thing, You know what is not going to improve? My swing. What most people do is they go and spend money on training, and all they do is consume, 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 consume. But consumption does nothing for you unless you actually do the work. It'd be no different. Like I want y'all to see this vividly. When you just consume training and you don't apply, it's like you going to the gym every morning and looking at the weights. Every morning. And if you do that every morning for 90 days, you walk into the gym and just look at the gym and look at the weights, I guarantee you won't develop a new muscle at all. In fact, you will lose muscle mass because when you don't work out, you actually get weaker. Sal said it is Whiskey Friday. And I'm with you, buddy. Whiskey and the golf. You know what that is. But seriously, y'all, like, it does not matter what training you get as long as you actually apply and do the work. And the proper execution of this is learn something and immediately implement. We live in a society that has started glorifying people for completing things, but not glorifying people for actually mastering. So it's like I graduated from high school. Everybody's, yeah, you got a diploma. Graduate from college. Yeah, you graduate, got a diploma. Now what you do? Oh, I don't know how to do anything because all I did was just show up to school and take a test. And now you find yourself $80,000, $100,000 in debt with an entry-level job paying $40,000 a year because you have not developed skills. You have developed habits of learning and taking tests. Companies do not pay you for what you have learned. They don't. I've said this time and time before. You don't get paid for what you learn. You get paid for how you communicate what you've done. And I'm going to prove it to you. And if you heard this example, you won't hear it again. If you had somebody in your family, maybe you have a kid that was 16, and they just got their driver's license, would you hand them the keys to your McLaren, to your Ferrari to drive, and they just got their license? Absolutely not, because you don't trust them. You don't trust them. And companies are the same way. Why would they hand you the keys to a multi-million-dollar empire, a multi-billion-dollar empire, when all you have is working knowledge? That's what'd be missing. Stephen Curry said, bars. What are your thoughts on Splunk? Splunk is cool. Splunk is cool. It's a good platform. Tools are tools. It depends on how you use the Splunk. Like me, as a cybersecurity consultant, architect, I use Splunk to develop compensating controls for companies, mitigating controls when they could not meet the direct security controls or the different assessments. I use those things to become very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Man, they help me get out of a lot of trouble during security assessments. Splunk is understanding how to use, so let me set that back. Splunk is the tool, but the tool that it is a SIEM, SIEM. Understanding how to leverage the SIEM to help a company in their security posture and become secure and compliant is the goal, not just learn how to use the tool. Anybody can learn how to use a tool. Anybody can learn how to use a tool. Application of knowledge is the golden ticket. Facts, Robert, facts. Thanks for that. Starting to apply the courses, but making various tutorials on my GitHub portfolio, attacking courses like it's my new full-time job. That is what you do. Make sure that you document everything you do. Hey, y'all, you know that y'all can put projects and things that you've worked on your resume, like create a project section on your resume. Just because you were not paid for something doesn't mean you can't list it on your resume. Your resume is the conversation starter. If you don't have the right keywords or elements on your resume to start the conversation, you're never going to get a chance to have the conversation. By the way, I am actually doing a live web class tomorrow on the 3 biggest mistakes that are keeping you from landing a high-paying tech job. Completely free. Link is in the description. Register. Come join your boy live. Alrighty. Next question said, yep, all the CISOs are hiring folks. I was talking about how they interview folks who got all the certs but zero practical application of those skills. Exactly. Hey man, if y'all think the certs are the way to go, y'all have a field day looking at my LinkedIn inbox. My goodness. It be the ones that you think that are out there killing the game that got like 17 certifications behind their title on LinkedIn be in my inbox asking me if I can help them get a freaking interview. I'm like, fam, what are we doing here? And I asked them, well, what can you do? And their response is, well, I have all these certifications. I'm like, bro, you ain't answer my question. Like, what can you do? What can you do? How do I apply for these careers for IT positions when I have no prior experience in certifications? Currently working on receiving my A+. Well, the first thing you got to do is you have to get some experience. If you are working on your A+, that means that you should be developing experience at the same time by doing what you have been taught. So you go from learning to actually applying. Let me explain to y'all real quick why this is so important. Why I focus so much on actually doing, even though doing is not the thing that gets you paid. Communication is. But I want y'all to think about this. Is it easier for you to communicate something that you've learned or something that you've done? I would imagine right now there is a recipe that you have cooked so many times you don't even need to look at the book anymore. You can just communicate, speak about it. Or if you have children, if somebody asks you something about your children, you would need to go study to talk about your children. This is because you know them, you spent time with them, you could describe them, your experiences, etc. It's the same exact thing when it comes to your skill set and what you do. You have to be so familiar with what you do that you can communicate. Because that resume is going to start the conversation, meaning it is going to bring people to you. But if you cannot communicate what is on that piece of paper, you're never going to get the job. And the only way, I won't say only way, the best way for you to be able to communicate what's on your resume is by actually doing the things. Doing the things. Because y'all have heard this statement, if use it or lose it. It's because people learn and they don't apply and then they lose it. And then you find yourself cramming for some certification. That's why people that cram for certifications, you ask them what can they do? They can't do nothing because they only learned to pass a test instead of learning to actually perform the job. There's a difference. There's a difference. If you had to restart with everything you know, how would you do it? Oh, that's a good question. If I had to restart, so if I had to start everything over again, what I would have done, so when I first got into tech, I came into tech from accounts receivable. But while I was working out the accounts receivable company, I started tinkering around with computers and doing some tech support stuff there out of selfish reasons. Long story, I'm not going to go into it. However, from that position, I went into tech support as a network technician. If I had truly understood the value that I was bringing in the accounts receivable role with the auditing that I was doing of those actual sales reports and the billing issues that I was correcting, I would not have gone into tech support. I would have gone into IT auditing first. And instead of getting that first tech job that was $40,000, that IT auditing role probably could have been $50,000, $60,000, or even $70,000. However, I don't regret anything. I've learned a lot of lessons, and that's how I'm able to help other people now. But who knows if my path would have turned out the way it is right now, which I ain't complaining about it. So that's what I would have done differently. I would have went into IT auditing first, which is why I try to help people get into IT auditing. Because like when you are the auditor, you're not the tech guy, and auditors cannot have access to the systems that they're auditing because of separation of duties. So now I can audit systems and learn how the technology works while getting paid. And that's what I call getting paid to learn. So you can scroll on YouTube all day, go through tutorials and all this stuff for free on your time, or you could transition into IT auditing, security auditing, and actually get paid to learn the systems. Alrighty, let's see what else it says. Currently enrolled in 1 year hands-on IT with A plus network and security plus certification upon graduation. How can I develop those skills faster after graduation? Tony, develop those skills before you graduate. Be ready. Be ready. The fastest way is to do. So if I'm doing the whole A plus security plus network plus, as I'm learning new skills, I am building labs at home, and I'm also looking to see what jobs are out there and what are those day-to-day responsibilities. I think the first audit that anybody should do that's trying to get into cybersecurity or IT is an audit of themselves. You have to be just like brutally honest with yourself, list out what your skill sets are and your ability, then go look at 5 or 6 different job postings to see what they are requiring and see what you are missing. Hear what I'm saying, y'all? Because people make the mistake of going to think that the certification is the missing link that's going to get them to the job, but they are forgetting all 20 other requirements that the companies are looking for. Communication ability, orally and written. I cannot tell you how many BC clients, the disgruntled ones too, that can't freaking form a complete written sentence. And I'm like, bruh, I can see why this ain't working for you. Like, you gotta be able to write a complete sentence. As crazy as that may seem, like, you need to be able to at least use Microsoft Excel. Very basic things. You need to be able to send an email. We're talking about simple stuff, y'all. Not very technical stuff, simple stuff. The reason why is the people that are running these multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar companies, they are not technical people. So if we're spending our time learning all this technical stuff, then we are not focused on what truly matters, and that is person-to-person communication. You need to be able to advise, tell somebody what they need to do, whether you are talking to them on the phone or sending them an email. And those skills are overlooked. My goodness, they are overlooked. Overlooked. Let's see. You could look at people. So you could look at people in positions that you want and have them aim for that too. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Before I started my company, when I was the senior security architect at American Airlines, they assigned me a good old mentor, and they gave me the CISO, Dan Glass. Shout out to Dan if you're watching this. Love you, dude. And I had a conversation with him. I was like, dude, like, what does it take to be a CISO? That's Chief Information Security Officer, because that was my career goal at that time. And so the thing that he really talked to me about was understanding like the business. Cause he's like, man, I'm not out here doing all this technical stuff. Like, that was back in my architect days. That stuff is over and done with. And after that conversation, that's what really just made me go all in understanding how technology actually plays the role in business, instead of just focusing on all this freaking tech stuff that changes every few months. The business principles don't change. Technology changes all the time. And knowing that, I decided that wouldn't be my focus. Just got a call from the recruiter canceling the FedRap centric role at 2 p.m. Hate that I have to play these games most of the time. They don't even know what they're talking about. Yeah, man, recruiters, they will play with you, man. Pull at your heartstrings. What are projects for very beginners that one could put on their resume to show some skill traits? Hey, that is going to depend. Unfortunately, I can't answer that without knowing what kind of role you're interested in. And that's one of the first things that you have to do. If you want to have a successful career, you have to know specifically where you are going. So when I ask people like, hey, like, what are you looking to do? Oh, get into cybersecurity. That literally tells me nothing. Cybersecurity has pen testers, has application developers, has application code testers, has technical writers, has auditors, has directors, has managers, security analysts, incident response people, security architects, network security architects, physical security specialists. Like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? And this is why, like, YouTube is the killer of dreams, y'all, because you get very generic advice. And this is why you need mentorship. You got to have mentorship from someone who has done that and understand the investment in you will pay off in the long run. You can do something for free for so long, but how long is it going to take you? How long is it going to take you? So I don't know why people would be hating on certs, and it's always the senior IT guys forgetting that they had to search somewhere too. I don't think anybody be hating on the certs. I don't think people hate on the certs. I don't hate on the certs. I hate on the idea that people think that the certs will overcome their communication ability or being able to actually do the job. Certs don't mean anything. Hell, there's websites online where you can buy certifications. The value of those things is so insignificant. It's so insignificant. And also, when you go out and get these entry-level certifications like these CompTIA things, you actually are increasing the competition against yourself. Literally. Like the CompTIA trifecta. How many people are told that? Millions of people. So now we're saying that we want to go get in line with millions of people that have these same exact credentials as we do. How are we going to stand out from them other than asking for a lower salary? Have y'all thought about that? Maybe not. I'm finding folks are trying to supplement their skills with AI, and boy, I swear they're Hey man, AI is cool. You can use it, but yes, a lot out there. A lot out there. Malik, what's the first step? The first step is to identify where you want to go. Yeah, do some research. As a newbie, what do I need to start in my home labs? It depends. It depends. Yeah, y'all will hear a lot of "it depends" from me because, yeah, generic advice, y'all. I can't tell you where to start a lab if you're trying to be like a pen tester. Like, I have to give you advice based on where you are. Righty. Yep, definitely. Certification shows that you can pass the test. Uh. I say, y'all listen, you don't want that second phone. Man, Greg, I be trying to tell him. I be trying to tell. Like, I I don't know, man. I be sitting in my office sometimes. I just be banging my head against the wall. And I'd be like, why don't people believe this? Why? Has like the Reddit posts in Hollywood really conditioned people that they want to go get these tech jobs and be locked down to a desk with two phones because you're on call because you got to troubleshoot and fix stuff. Like I lived that life. I'd be out here trying to save people from it, and they're like, "No, Boyd, I don't want to go make money by being a compliance auditor or security assessor. I don't want remote work and now I have to do the technical stuff. I want to do the technical stuff." Oh, that's funny. uh, I said the pressures all started with certs. Why is CCNA a cert? Why is the CISSP a cert if it only means a person can pass the test? Yeah, so, bruh, you know people can endorse you to get a cert, right? Most of the dudes that have the XP for a particular cert came from a help desk. Yeah, so like, again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the certifications, and yes, that certification means that you passed a test. That's it. But there are certain industries that those certifications are required. For example, as my time as a QSA, a qualified security assessor, performing security assessments on companies for the credit card data security programs, I had to be a certified QSA. In order to be a certified QSA, you had to have two high-level certifications, one from auditing and one from security. So I had the CISSP and I had the CISA, which qualified me to get the QSA. But guess what? I didn't pay for none of those. I didn't pay for any of the certifications. So I did not need the certifications to get the job. My communication ability and my work experience got me the $200,000 job, which the company paid for the certifications. That is the difference. The certification it should be a validation of what you already know. So if you find yourself having to study for months and months to take an exam, that means that you are trying to pass the exam instead of validating what you already know. What do you say to those that say the field is too saturated? If the field was too saturated, then um, I don't know. I don't have a comment for the people that say the field is too saturated. I would say the ones that say it's too saturated don't have the skills to actually, you know what? Rewind. I agree. The field is actually too saturated with entry level people with no skills. That is the truth. So there has to be context around it. There is a significant shortage of qualified people that can actually go into companies, add value, and solve problems. But there is, man, I can't tell you how many people out there with your CompTIA trio out there competing for the same jobs. And they believe because they're at that level, they're all applying, and getting rejected. But when you get to the place where you're actually getting paid for value and creating value, you're not applying for jobs. The companies are actually finding you. It says senior guys always hate on the smaller guys for forgetting where they came from. Yeah, you're talking about certs that have years worth of prerequisites required prior to obtaining. So, Cyber Gangsta actually made a video about this. That is not the case. That is not the case. So let me tell y'all this. You guys have to go and seek the truth for yourself. If you take other people's advice for stuff, you're going to be stuck where you are. So like I be hearing these comments all the time, but oh, if you got to get a CISSP, you have to have 5 years of experience working in cybersecurity. And that is not what it says. If you go read it yourself, you will see that it says you have to have 5 years of experience in the security domain. So if you are working on the help desk and you're doing password resets and you've been doing that for 15 years, guess what? Password resets is the access control security domain. That thing don't say you need a job working in cybersecurity for 5 years. Not at all. Not at all. I got my first tech job in 2010. I was CISSP certified in 2014. I didn't wait 5 years, but I did wait until I knew that I had been doing the work long enough where I was comfortable where that exam was going to be a confirmation what I've already done. You know, if you are completely dependent on people telling you what to do, how to think, it's going to be a hard career. You have to go get the answers for yourself. Resourcefulness is the best attribute. Okay, second best. Communication is number 1. Resourcefulness, number 2. Resourcefulness. You got to be resourceful. How to find the right answers. Because a lot of the stuff I hear from people is just things that are regurgitated on LinkedIn and Reddit. Get the answers for yourself. Yep. How deep do you need to be with Excel? Oh man, just basic. Basic, basic, basic. Just basic. So I'm not saying don't get the certs, but the certs aren't what's going to get us a job, but they don't hurt if you have the disposable income and get them gain. Cyber gangster, you say the certs don't hurt because, you know what? Let me go out on a limb and say you haven't had to hire people. I'm going to take that because you say the certs don't hurt. And I'm sure you're speaking from personal experience, but I can tell you with certainty, I know tech recruiters that will specifically exclude any resumes that contain the word CompTIA. So if that ain't hurting you, I don't know what is. So yeah, but overall point is that being taken by most, especially when the senior guys say certs don't mean anything, is very discouraging to persons. I hear you. The focus should not be the cert though. Like who cares about it? It's what can you do? And I believe the people that are caught up in certs have not understood the value or the skill set that they have, and therefore they are leaning on the credibility of that piece of paper to speak for them. But guess what? That certification can't answer those interview questions for you. It can't. How would you find established mentors? Look in your network. Is there anybody that you've seen that has accomplished something that you want to accomplish? You reach out and ask them. You know, you got to come with some value. A cup of coffee, Starbucks gift card, or something. Oh yeah. And so that's why you take the old head advice with a grain of salt. They're already secure enough in their role, not wanting to learn anything new. So how do you go get certs even when you've been unemployed for 24 months and have limited money because unemployment ran out? So how do you go get certs even when? Hey Jalen, I think the focus is wrong there. Because if you're saying, how do I go get certs if I'm unemployed and have limited money? The solution to your problem is not going to be a certification. The problem is you need a skill set and the ability to go make money. You all realize, right, the end goal of all this is to make money. But if we're focusing on a piece of paper that does not make us money, neglecting what does, which is the skills, this is all for nothing. This is all for nothing. Everything that you want, that you desire, can be accomplished if you will just focus, develop the discipline to create the process and framework to go get it. There are people that will pay you to fix their computers. There are companies that will pay you to help them address their security concerns. There is no shortage of opportunities out here. The shortage is creativity to go do it. And too many people expect opportunities to be handed to them, and you ain't putting in the work to deserve opportunities to be chasing you down. We all have to start somewhere. I didn't start off with this mindset of I don't apply for jobs and I'm going to go out and make $1 million a year. I didn't start there, y'all. Like I developed that. I started by failing out of college, getting a $13 per hour job working in accounts receivable, figuring out, building my own curriculum to get into tech, figuring out how to get companies to pay for my certifications, figuring out how to communicate value, understand why companies hire, what was valuable to them, figuring out how to become the security architect for American Airlines, figuring out how to start a consulting business, figuring out how to make millions, figuring out how to get in contact with Forbes to get a book published. That's why I'm telling you, resourcefulness. Like if your spirit is, you're waiting for somebody to give you something, or you need a piece of paper or some form of validation to accomplish your goals, life is going to be tough. Life is going to be real tough because ain't nobody out here giving nothing. Like right now is the greatest time to be alive freaking ever. Oh my goodness. All this AI technology out here that can teach you anything that you want to know, but you need to verify that though, because AI be lying. It be lying. But all these opportunities, coaches out here, it's just like, Oh my goodness, there's way too much opportunity. So we shouldn't or should it not be useful to pass the CompTIA? I, I, I can't answer that question for you. It depends on your goals and where you are. Can't answer that question. CompTIA used to be cool, but that was 20 years ago. Today, I don't even want to think. I don't think comp anything is worth it. That's sad, but I agree with that statement. Sad, but it is. It's saturated, y'all. It's saturated because the same information is given to everybody. You get your A plus, your network plus, you get your security. Like, first of all, let me give y'all some real talk. My company is an authorized partner with CompTIA, y'all. So it ain't like I'm poo-pooing on them. There's nothing wrong with the training that they provide. I never said don't get training. I never said don't get certified, because you got to learn how to do something somewhere. But if your focus and emphasis is believing that certification is the magic trick, then you are focused on the wrong thing. Hey boy, I'm at the end of the course, put my resume together using the GRC toolkit and LinkedIn. Recruiters are chasing me down on LinkedIn for the third party auditor and GRC analyst role. RJ, let's go. Let's go. You see what happens when you take direction and you implement. So like if you did not do that final piece right there, none of it works. Because people be forgetting. In order for you to get the job, you have to get an interview. And I ain't seen nobody talk about these interviews, y'all. They just say cert to job. Like fam, you have to get an interview and actually convince that person that you can do the job. Y'all do realize that, right? Y'all do realize that, right? So I have little to no certs too, straight up. So I work in government sector and security plus is hard requirement for most of the jobs. Mark, straight up. Yeah, if you're working in GovTech, you gonna have to be certified working in GovTech because that's their requirements. I don't talk about GovTech. I leave that to my homie Simone. Not me. So what would you do instead of getting the CompTIA to get ahead in line? So the thing is that resin? Hope I pronounced that right. Um, the CompTIA is not the problem. It's the mindset that comes from CompTIA. And let me explain this to you. The concept, that mindset is if I get this certification, I put this certification on my resume that I'm going to get a job versus focusing on what is this training teaching me and how can I apply what I've learned to go add value? Because that's what gets you hired. Um, and by the way, I teach my clients to manage their career like a business. And one of the things that all good business owners do is this concept that's called split testing. Split testing. That means before we launch a marketing campaign, we take a segment of our audience and we present one offer to them. Another section, we present a slightly tweaked offer to them, see which one wins. Based on which one performs better, we launch that to the rest. Has anybody taken a split testing methodology to their resume or LinkedIn profile outside of my clients? Probably not. Probably not. So if I am trying to figure out whether or not this certification is going to work, I'm going to split test that joint. I might have this CompTIA stuff on my resume for 30 days and then see how, if and how recruiters are connecting with me or even reviewing my applications. And then I might try it the other way and see which one's working for me. You have to constantly change and tweak to see what the market is looking for so that you can present yourself in the right light. And that's what a business person would do. But if you don't take that approach, you're going to touch your resume once and say this is good and then complain about people not reaching out to you, which by nature of them not reaching out to you means the resume is the problem. So what would you say is the first step to escaping the help desk? Chevy, yo, if you are on the help desk, man, you are in good luck because that means you already have some tech skills. The first step to escaping the help desk is actually to realize you are a cybersecurity professional just working on the help desk. So, what you have to do is walk through all your daily responsibilities, find only the ones that line up with the CIA of cybersecurity, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and remove everything else from your resume, update it, and then proceed. How to boost my career as an offensive security guy. I have OSCP, but I feel stuck on some pen tests. Bro, you got the OSCP, and how to boost my career. Well, boost your career is ambiguous. What are you trying to do? I'm curious. Because like the OSCP is actually the only certification that requires true skill to actually get. So I'm curious about this. Very curious. What would you do the first week in a new PCI role? Look at diagrams, read current policies, talk with their QSAs to see where they're at. Does it depend on where they are in the journey? Thomas, I have a structured methodology because I'm a framework guy. I actually wrote out in the Cyber Hero playbook the first 30 days, 60 and 90, I'm pretty sure. But my first day, first week on the job, I'm not immediately going to look at policies and procedures. I have to get an understanding of what's going on in the environment, meaning how the company stores, process, transmits card data, and who are the people involved. What business units, who manages the scope, the data flow. I need to understand that high level before I start getting into diagrams, all that good stuff. So you're right. I didn't imply cybersecurity experience, but you still have to have years of experience. I don't mean years worth of cybersecurity experience. When it comes time to renew certificates, are your webinars adequate for renewing certs? Tony, absolutely. Absolutely, they are. Ouch, truth. I'm sick and tired of being called on having to wake up at 3 a.m. to reset someone's freaking password. Yeah, you got to get out of there. See, that right there is IDM, System Security Specialist, all day. Access controls. That is a high paying skill. But until you realize that you have the high paying skills, then it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. So like for the folks that are on this live session, I mean, if I get enough interest, y'all can comment on here. If y'all want me to put together, I don't know, some type of training, coaching, mentor service, I don't know, something to help y'all, I may be inclined to do it. Y'all let me know. But I gotta bounce. I got a meeting coming up. Um, Truly enjoyed chatting with you guys. Peace.